you're basically, or in a season where you're basically now through 1/3 of your games. But then I think the reciprocal is also true for LNG, where you're down 0-2, where there's now 1/3 of the games to be played officially being history. So they've really got to shape up past this point if they are the ones that go down in this point too. So now, as we do get on to the draft phase, some marksmen being taken off the board. We see the Vayne by IG not going to be available for LNG if they want to try and go for it. That signals to me, Gordo, that we might be looking for another range top to give into TheShy's hands.
Very well could be. Varus going to get banned away by LNG. They're definitely not interested in seeing that one come through in the top lane. We've seen that one wreaking havoc quite a few times recently. Last ban here coming through from LNG. They are going to take away the Lucian from Awesome. Huge pick from him in the last split with NIP. Was a big contributor in many of their wins. First pick now. IG looking at that Orianna for rookie, a classic for him. And he will snap it up. Nocturne or no.
So no Nefiri to be paired up with it. Jarvan, though, still a potential option if you want an apt ball boy, and I think LNG recognized that. We'll maybe try and snag that one away. I think maybe the best pairing you can go with now is also the Rise. It's decent into the Orianna, and then also gives you that scaling aspect that I think pairs nicely to just round out the rest of the map. With the Realm Warp 2, can just get you into a lot of places at once to make some of the side lane plays that you might try to go for before IG inevitably group on up with this Ori.
All right, Nya wants to throw hands, takes the Akali. Yeah. Classic counter matchup here for the Orianna. Post level 6 will have that kill pressure.
These are your champs, Gordo.
Outplay, they are my champs. Has a lot of opportunity for outplay on the Shockwave. They also take away the Jarvan as another potential Orianna counter, really trying to minimize how many of those are going to be available. Looking at an Ezreal for Awesome here. Sticking to those traditional 80 carries on the day, our IG.
And now Slayer gets his champion picked up. All right, come on. Who's locking in the Kazakhs? I believe in you, Wei.
Good day for us here on the first 2/3 of the broadcast. And they're going to have a hell of a strong duo in the bottom lane this time around.
Yeah.
Not going to be a lot of options for 1xN and Missing to abuse this duo, as Ezreal and Karma looking to be locked in by IG. A very solid, flexible first round of the draft for them.
I think this is going to be a pretty rough game for WeiWei unless he's able to get a lot of early impact. There's so many different ways that Wei can, that Wei can get himself out of the Cataclysm, and then also Awesome too. I mean, just being able to Arcane Shift out of the Cataclysm on top of all of that. This is going to be tough for LNG so far. I think they need a little bit more firepower to be joined up alongside the Sakali, and that certainly fits the bill, Gordo. Ambessa going to round out LNG's top side here, given over to Sheer. And with Rumble Fearless away, that does mean some of the difficult matchups for her are taken off the board. Renekton, though, is one that comes to mind that is still available. So I think LNG are probably going to try and deny that, from TheShy.
Yeah, they have 2 bans to defend the Ambessa now, and they are going to likely use them both. But now IG get to take away some bot lane opportunities. They're going to take away the Ziggs, maybe looking towards another Enchanter bot laner, another Mage bot laner, if they want to take away something like the Syndra, just to continue to keep their options open. Plenty of junglers left on the table for IG as well. LNG could choose to pinch them if they aren't concerned about any top laners not named Renekton. I think they could also just try to eliminate some other options here. Maybe take the Olaf, take the Yorick. Could have been a choice as well. It will be the Olaf this time.
So Olaf going to be the last ban from LNG here. Trying to think about what this might mean for the greater part of the map, or what LNG really want to do for this bot side. I think there might be an angle where you go something like a Rel to try and get that extra lockdown, just because this Ezreal is so darn slippery. But that also would open up the can of worms of you getting kited a lot in the laning phase as well, if Awesome is able to space out a lot of these 2v2s properly, especially when there is the Karma to be able to provide you those shields. Though, Rel does have the shield break ability, so there is also that little niche interaction that you have to consider if that is the option for missing. But for now, seems like they're going to go for their AD carry pick here, Gordo, and no mages to be spotted. I like the Kai'Sa a lot. You've got a full engage comp, and I think it's good to be able to use to follow up for some of these mobile members of IG, but they pivot last second and lock the Yunara.
All right. I wonder if this is going to be like a Yunara Lulu angle or something.
Yeah.
To try to round things out, still try to brawl out in the 2 versus 2, still try to seize opportunities to pop off there. We saw a lot of good 1xN Yunara games earlier in this season while that pick was still top of the heap, and it is still his most played of the split, or of the year so far. So they are going to try to get that one. TheShy going to be the lockdown, just trying to make sure that they can take out this major threat if it does start to become a problem. And yeah, Gnar would be the obvious choice for TheShy, unless he's cooking up some kind of cute little counter pick to the Ambessa. I see no reason to not just snap up that prehistoric Yordle here and have it the ability to take that fight. Even has a nice little combo there with the enemy Jarvan. You can always Gnar people into Cataclysms and stuff. It's a great pick here.
Gives you a lot of peel as well if you're awesome. So I think this is a game where IG are putting a lot of faith in their AD carry, and also to a certain extent Rookie on top of that to dish out the damage with how much space and how much engage the rest of the Invictus Gaming comp are going to be providing for them. No surprise here to see the Lulu snagged up with the Yunara to round out both of these drafts. So seems like both of these teams are putting a lot of faith in their respective marksmen. We already kind of talked about how IG are setting up around this Ezreal pick, setting up around Awesome to dance around these team fights, and I think the same is also true for LNG, though I would extend some of that courtesy of the carry potential over to Nia as well. Obviously, whenever you go the Akali, this is, like you said, good into the Orianna to dodge out on her combo, but also, this is one of the best tools that you have for being able to get into that backline and actually really threaten this Ezreal. So there are plenty of tools from LNG to be able to do so, and I think it's just a question of, can IG do a good job at protecting him? Can he position well on top of that? In order to pump out maximum value in these late game team fights, because as we saw in the early game of game number 1, Gordo, that was something that Awesome struggled with a little bit and is going to have to fix up here if he wants to have impact in game 2.
Yeah, I think, you know, being the one who identifies an opportunity to pull the trigger first going to be huge in this game for both sides, right? If this fight starts off with Wei throwing himself in onto the Yunara, getting her blown up, I can definitely see a world where LNG are just kind of out of gas and can't keep the fight going, even if they're able to access on the back line. And conversely, if you pull the trigger first on LNG's side, dive into the back line with the public execution, with the Jarvan combo, with the Akali, even if cease and desist comes through on the 1xN, there's not going to be any follow-up there for it.
Yup, and now IG staring down at potentially starting this Season 2 and 0. LNG threatened 0 and 2. We'll have to see what happens here in game number 2.
IG fans empowered after that game number 1, feeling it, feeling the promise that a return from the Cheyenne Rookie can give to this team as they look to make the impossible happen, the Nirvana to Worlds run, the forbidden storyline. If there was a team to do it, it feels like it would be this IG lineup, and they would definitely be a huge story for the entire world to watch if they were able to make that happen. Still very early in the season to be talking about such things, though, as they look to get that 2-0 start. So far, going to need to follow up on a shaky early game from game number 1. Maybe a much improved one in game number 2.
Yep, and we can see WeiWei maybe looking for a cheeky little early gank against Awesome here, and Meiko, but he actually got spotted out. They got him. They know where he is. Foiled.
No. Oh, WeiWei. Now going to have to make his way back into his jungle.
Ah, that is brutal.
Yeah. just a big time waster there, and one that Wei is going to be well and truly aware of. So Wei going to be able to have his way with WeiWei's jungle as WeiWei makes his way up towards the top side. I'm going to keep
Get out of
this.
get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head. As, I mean, WeiWei having to basically waste that much time for himself. He is looking for a gank onto Rookie, though, so maybe it'll all be worth it in the end. Rookie has dinged level 4, though, and Nya's very low.
Flash forward for the kunai, tries to go for the flash knockup, doesn't connect it, but does it matter? Because Nya has the shuriken flip to chase Rookie down.
No.
Waiting for the energy to cast Q, can't do it. Wei shows up, Wei interrupts the engage from LNG, turns it right back around to Nya with a huge counter punch, and picks up first blood for IG.
A huge counter punch, both literally and metaphorically, Gordo. Gets there just in the nick of time to save his mid laner from a disastrous fate. As now TheShy is looking for a solo kill.
TheShy calls out the step forward from Sheer with a big wallop and turns it around for himself. Solo bolo to TheShy.
All right, if you didn't think TheShy was back from game number 1, I present to you game number 2, TheShy. Solo kill onto Sheer. Less than 4 minutes into the game, we're already 2,000 gold up as Invictus Gaming, Gordo.
You got to feel for WeiWei here. Goes for the flash predict. Doesn't get the distance right. Rookie's too far away. Nya waiting for the energy to come back to cast his kunai. Can't get it before Wei shows up. Oh, what a disaster for LNG here. And then look at this wall up.
Yeah, I mean, this is just brutal for Sheer here. I mean, looks for a slight little trade, but then the stun lands on the Mega W. He's able to follow up here. Sheer's flash doesn't do anything. The Q still lands. He still gets the house dropped on him. It's just misplays from LNG and unfortunate circumstances on top of that. And also, Gordo, with the knockup from the Jarvan, it doesn't count as a knockup until he's technically done with the whole thing. While he's channeling it, it's more of a knockback, and he was only halfway through it. So he wasn't gonna get that either way, which is really unfortunate. So a bit of an oopsie there from WeiWei. And yeah, IG off to a 2-0 start. Did close a little bit of the gold lead, but not by much.
Yeah, and you know, we checked out the stats at the beginning of the night. TheShy been very good in lane so far this split. Does not look like this guy has lost a step during his time on the couch. If anything, he looks a little rejuvenated, and still showing that here in game number 2, series number 2. IG gonna have no problem picking up this dragon now. I mean, they have such an advantage through mid. Nya is useless. Just picked that level 6. But not going to be able to take the priority in mid lane. WeiWei on vision, Wei much stronger than him. It's a difficult position to be in as LNG, IG going to be able to cash that one out for free.
And now, it's really difficult, in my opinion, for LNG to come back in this game. Shockwave coming out from Rookie. I might be looking for a legitimate dive here. Wei is in the area, has dinged level 6. And I don't really think there is a way out of this, though. WeiWei is on his, he's making his way to the bot lane.
Well, WeiWei trying to make a way out of this, but Wei getting in there, going to be able to lock down 1xZ. Wei picks up the first kill, and WeiWei now needs to try to find a way out. Underneath the tower with missing, will be able to clear out the wave, but a quick and easy play for IG. Maybe going to turn into a second one here. As WeiWei steps a little far away, takes a vault breaker from Wei, and they will retreat.
Are there any other words that we can use besides Wei? Like, that mean the same thing? Like,
I'm just leaning into it at this point.
I know, but like, man, I actually respect the fact that you haven't, like, tongue-twisted yourself even once. That's very impressive, Gordo.
It happens. I'm due. Give it time. But for now, doing my job, at least on the day. back up towards top side of the map. Grubby's going to be on the table here pretty soon, and I'm sure IG happy that they're winning on this side as they were on the bottom. So going to be well equipped to be able to win out on those grubs if they do so choose. Rookie building up a solid CS lead for himself in mid lane after that kill earlier on. Going for the Roa build this game for that little bit of extra survivability against the Sakali.
Which is interesting, right? You're super far ahead at this point in the game. You're up 20 CS like you said, and it kind of feels like IG are poised to bulldoze this game at the current rate.
Up 1xn under the exhaust, just melted down. Awesome fallen low, will be traded back by missing. But there's Meiko ready to run down. Oh, the flash over the Q, and now WeiWei arrives to the scene to make it a 2-for-1. LNG clapping back, getting WeiWei in the game. That is, of course, going to come at the cost of these grubs.
See that Wei is on that objective, and frankly, if TheShy keeps chunking out sheer like this, then they might actually be able to look for a dive on the other end. You can see that ult is coming back for the Vi. Probably gonna opt not to do that, actually. So no threat from sheer regardless, but you can see he's backing off, so he understands that the threat is a possibility at the very least. And this will give one more plate over to the Gnar, who is already building up a pretty decent gold lead. It's not the biggest between two counterparts in this game so far, but I think it just keeps adding to the pressure LNG are feeling at the fact that their top side is so far behind collectively at this point.
Certainly. And it's just going to go from bad to worse if they can't find a way to have WeiWei turn that one back around. Another dive being looked at on the bottom side, this time Rookie being called down, recalls around the top side. There is a TP for Nya, but I don't know how much he can really do to turn this one around. He is going to start challenging it. He is on his way, but they don't even make the dive happen, so that's just a TP used for nothing.
So teleport wasted, well not wasted, but used from Nya to save the dive from happening. Does mean that Rookie will be able to crash this wave for now. Won't actually pick up a plate immediately. He's actually going to spot out WeiWei on his chickens. Actually takes a couple of the small ones away, so add insult to injury.
Yeah. Oh, Wei. I got to add that one into the Wei dialogue. Thank you, production.
That's exactly how I feel, production.
Dude,
listen, I do not condone him playing into it this much.
That syllable is like a little alarm in my head now.
Like
I'm locked in.
The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? I feel like I'm going insane.
It's okay. You're going to make it through this, Quax. Quax is on game number 5 of the night, by the way, so he's already... It's like he's gone the full distance for a playoff series here, but just with 4 different teams. It's WeiWei up around the top side. Wei on the bottom side. Dragon spawning. This should go to IG, no problemo. Because of that aforementioned WeiWei presence in the top. Shy under no threat whatsoever.
Nope, he's all good, and I think LNG probably learned their lesson about overloading on a side lane that has TheShy in it from game number 1. So the aura of this man's deterring them from even attempting to make that play. Wei, though, I almost said WeiWei. Wei will be able to get Dragon number 2 for IG here. And that's all 3 objectives that IG have gotten so far. LNG have gotten 2 kills and basically nothing else for their efforts. So it just goes to show that even though LNG have a fighting chance in the skirmishes, if they're not able to convert that into actual tangible leads around the map, they're just going to keep falling further and further behind.
For sure. Wow, 40 CS lead for Rookie. I mean, that early death
1.2k
is so
absurd.
Painful. It's such a terrible position to be in this matchup, where you're already expected to fall a little bit behind, but then you need to be at parity when it's time to get level 6 so that you can pressure them off so that you don't let that lead get worse. But unfortunately, he was down a Catalyst at that time, so he never had that kill pressure. So he has just been playing like the melee versus ranged pre-level 6 version of this matchup the whole game long.
I mean, What can you even do here? As yeah, you're being bullied onto your own turret. You can't even go into XP range. Your jungler is there, but Wei is also there. This is just brutal for the Akali.
Yeah, it's a tough. It's a tough one. Yeah, the only thing he can really do at this point is try to play in a longer lane, right? He's waiting for bot lanes to shift over to mid. At least then you have an opportunity to run down the Orianna if you get onto her. The addition of that Gunblade going to give you a little bit of additional pressure as well. So, wow.
Wow. TheShy might be able to dive this if he is so bold.
Yep. I mean, he's finding some good.
Yeah, he's
trades.
going.
Yeah, he just steps up over, back steps up against the public execution, waits for Wei to come in and take that weight off him. We'll be able to clean that one up. WeiWei looking at the bottom now, trying to replicate that success. Gets in there with the Cataclysm. Awesome. Does not have access to the Arcane Shift. Finally gets it back after he uses his flash. Shield comes through from Meiko. Not enough. Missing. Gets his second of the game.
It's a pretty costly kill, but LNG do manage to make some form of a cross map happen, but they've got to get out of dodge. Rookie's in the area with Shockwave.
Pulls WeiWei right back in, and Meiko will be the one to clean up that kill. Supports getting out of this play rich. Flash forward from Wei on the Missing. 1xN opening up with the ultimate to try to turn that back around. Missing will be able to stay alive, and LNG will successfully escape with their winnings.
All right, LNG do get a little bit for themselves. IG get more, but at the end of the day, it is not a completely one-sided trade to end things off. And, God, it's really getting to me now, Gordo, because I'm saying things like Shockwave, Wei. I can hear it in my sleep. It's in the walls, it's in the halls.
Yeah, that's going to be in your dreams later on if you're planning on catching up on sleep after LPL tonight. I'm sorry for you. But you know we're going to get a second one of these, right? This is a double round robin group. This is you're going to find another match.
I'm on that, by the way. We already have the schedule for that series.
Get your prep ready, brother. You're going to have to come in with some new material by the time that one kicks off. But for right now, it's been a way favored series compared to the WeiWei side of things at this point in time. Wei doing a great job on the responses so far in this game number 2, 3-0 on the scoreboard. And IG at a 4K gold lead at 14 minutes. It's been domination.
It really has been. And I think a lot of people are so happy that IG are doing well. We mentioned this in game number 1, but a lot of fans, right? We heard the Jios, we heard the cheers, we heard the support for them in the starts of both games, and it was much, much louder than LNG. Now Wei having to run away from WeiWei.
WeiWei getting in onto Wei, making his way through. Will
Oh
get locked down by
God.
the Cataclysm. WeiWei is taken out, and Wei trying to escape. Will get chased down by 1xN. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, but shutdown gold to 1xN feels plenty good for LNG if they are able to get away with this with 4 lives intact.
LNG do get out, but they get heavily zoned away. See, like there it is again. From the Rift Herald that has spawned and been up for a little bit here. So I think IG, once Wei gets back, hang on, TheShy might be in trouble.
Oh, big knockup from Missing. TheShy gets disrupted out of his hop, and he is going to shift back before too long. Meiko here to try to help him out as best as he can. TheShy out of tools, out of cooldowns, out of time, and out of life. Will fall down to Sheer. Gets himself back in on the kill score a little bit. Awesome, gonna have to shift back over this wall as IG not able to make a response. TheShy drop it down for the first time this game, but guess who's here? Wei, down to the bottom side to be able to pick up Dragon number 3, thanks to all that action on the top side.
This will be soul point for them, so it puts LNG on a pretty substantial timer from here on out. We get a replay about how the fight initially started. Ward not in the bush, but near it, so LNG have enough intuition to be able to throw their spells there, but it is to their own detriment. WeiWei gets immediately one shot, and 1xN has to flash in order to secure the 1-for-1 trade. But as we go back to live, Dragon Soul Point for IG, LNG on a timer to make something happen, and most importantly, they've got a lot of vision on that top side. You can see it's lit up like a Christmas tree for LNG, but they can really do nothing about it. I mean, until they get a kill, there is no way they're accessing that topside river. So really, it's just about information at this point for them, knowing if IG are on the Herald and when they would start that objective, and then maybe being able to make a cross-map play from there. But so far, IG aren't biting. They are not on that objective at the current moment.
No. Waiting for TheShy to get set up in the bottom side. Still knows that he has that one-on-one advantage up against Sheer. A 1.5k gold lead. Nothing to scoff at, as they do keep themselves relatively stable position up and around the top side. Awesome just getting back here with the Muramana as well. As more turret gold going into the pockets of IG here. Very early still, pre-20 minutes.
It's still a massive gold lead for the solo laners as well. I mean, TheShy, 1.7k up. Rookie, 1.7k up. And I think LNG, a lot of this comp hindered on 1xN being able to pump out the late game damage, but then also this top side, all three of these guys have very easy access into the backline. If Awesome misuses a summoner spell, they can just snap engage onto this Ezreal. But so far, they really haven't been given any opportunity to do so. Herald goes to IG. Meanwhile, TheShy is just split pushing on the top side, unanswered. So LNG have to scramble and roam Sheer to that same side of the map. This is just LNG being slightly slower on the rotations, and some of that gold being gained by IG, it just bleeds through gradually with every play.
Yeah, it's just a rough situation. LNG commit 5 members to the top side, but they don't find the engage angle to actually try to make use of that numbers advantage. So TheShy gets more time to farm for free. Sheer falls further behind, misses out on more minions, and they just have nothing to show for it. IG walk away with a free Rift Herald. Meiko, though, getting jumped on. WeiWei and Sheer combine forces to claim that pick.
All right, so pick onto Meiko. Good there for LNG. Will allow them to push a little bit, as you can see, into the mid lane and take some control of the bot side river. But there's no dragon here, Gordo. I feel like the big end goal here is to try and get some plates on the bot side. You do have the objective bounties on these turrets, so those do give a lot of gold. As it's potentially 1v4 again here. Oh boy, did it work the first time? No. Will it work the second time?
This is Meganar. WeiWei trying to force it, though. Gets himself in. Has to flash out. And again, 1 versus 4. TheShy is claiming more resources than he sacrifices. LNG cannot make a cake on this guy work, and now they're going to get punished for it. Way over the wall, goes in for the season assist, locks down Missing, taking a boatload of damage, but flashes back over the wall to be able to stay alive. Rookie with the ball over their heads, going to be raining through damage, and LNG are forced to retreat. They get nothing for their efforts.
Only 1 kill. I really held off on saying 1 there, as ultimate coming down from Awesome almost got them a second one. As Nya looking for a cheeky play here, but that is never going to work in a million years. IG get 1 for 0, thwart the dive from LNG, and they're going to claim a mid lane tier 2 on top of that. Dragon up in a little over 30 seconds. And LNG just feel out of firepower, out of options, out of tools. IG are so much further ahead at this point, Gordo.
Yeah, out of options is definitely what it feels like. LNG, with seemingly nothing left in the playbook, right? You look at that play earlier at the Rift Herald where they move Sheer up to the top side and they can't make the play happen 5 versus 4. And then they're 4 versus 1 trying to make a dive happen out of TheShy, but he's Meganar. Very difficult to dive. WeiWei tries to force it, has to flash back out. It's just a mess. They just have nothing to go towards. None of these plays are rehearsed by any means, and they are just completely out of sorts.
They really are. It is LNG desperately trying to look for something. Dragon has been started. We'll have to see how it goes. This will be Soul for IG if they get it, and it feels like Soul at this point would mean the game and the series.
WeiWei needs to steal. Nia trying to look on the side, but TheShy is marking him, fulfilling his role. Way stronger than this Akali 2-level advantage. WeiWei into the back line.
Good
Cataclysm. Gets the growth from missing, and it just is not enough. Nia now flashing forward. Gets a perfect execution. Fast one onto Awesome. Trying to finish off Wei. Dashes back through. Gets damage onto Meiko. Still not able to finish the job. Tumble back through. Nia finishes off Awesome, but Rookie and TheShy have been running amok on the opposite side. It is a triple kill to the man himself, and the dual vets, the former co-world champions, will win out the fight for IG, will secure the soul, and will take full control over this game for IG.
It's IG, TheShy, and Rookie, ladies and gentlemen, and they stand tall here in game number 2. Going into the replay, a good initial engage here by WeiWei. Wild growth to follow up, creates a bouncy house effect, and stalls out the backline of IG a little bit. But then it just kind of feels like it gets a little too split. Wei finds a pick onto 1xN. Nia tries to go into the backline. They do a lot of damage, but the wallet diff just feels too big at this point, and it's only getting worse. 9,000 gold here for IG. LNG back to live are looking for something, but it's really risky to pull the trigger at this point.
And TheShy is feeling himself now. He is not backing out. He still hasn't spent from that previous fight, and he's not going to start now. They find the pick onto Missing. They find a pick onto Sheer. They keep on pressing forward, and the Baron is next up on the menu.
And it is being served up to all 5 members of Invictus Gaming. Rookie, though, doesn't want to be a part of preparing said meal, and we'll go hunting for 1xN. Won't be able to find him, but we'll have some control over the mid waves with this new Baron buff in tow. Over 10,000 gold here for IG, and just a couple more fights, Gordo. I think we're looking at a 2-0, not just in the game score, but the series score for Invictus Gaming here in Nirvana.
First of all, that's basically a TheShy solo kill. Second of all, I love seeing
no
the
kill
wall
secured
animation
from Meiko.
Yeah, I know, but I love seeing the wall of animation come out of the little snowman as well, by the way. That's just a treat, as you can see just how much damage this guy is pumping out. I am pretty sure he's going to be able to buy like a full item. Yup, that's a whole black cleaver in between the previous engagement and the recall. As now WeiWei going on in, does land a 3-man Cataclysm. 3-man Shockwave from Rookie will set up for Wei to run amok through the rest of LNG's lineup. The rest of the crew thought TheShy was getting a little too much credit here. They put together a beautiful play of their own. IG, a dominant game number 2 after a shaky early game in game number 1. Gonna close out this series in 2-0 fashion and catapult themselves to the top of Group Nirvana.
A dominant sweep here from IG. And what a way to end it. Rookie with the beautiful Shockwave. Wei with the beautiful follow-up. LNG falling like dominoes in that last exchange. And frankly, falling like dominoes in this last game. This was a very one-sided game. And besides the first 10 minutes of game number 1, a very one-sided series, Gordo. And I think for LNG, that is a very worrying trend with just how limited you are in games going into split number 3 here.
And I'll tell you, Quax, we saw Soboro, we saw Breathe. This is the best top laner IG's had all year by so much. I mean, really should have had this guy all along. But no, obviously, taking a break for himself. I think likely going to walk away with the series MVP here. What a showing from TheShy on the night. And all of IG, I mean, firing on all cylinders here. Really, really looking a class above LNG.
They absolutely do. And I think for IG, obviously when you have players of this caliber, players who have quite literally made it to the biggest stage you possibly can as a pro player, their aspirations probably extend further than Nirvana. So I think that it's not just a question of how they do against the fellow Nirvana competition, but how cooked are they going to be when it comes to facing off against the Ascend teams. And they do not look cooked in the slightest. I think what Slayer and I were talking about at the end of our Thunder Talk WE series is now that Thunder Talk are at a 1-5 series score, as we're sort of rounding out the first round robin, they could very well be one of the teams that end up fighting for their spot in Ascend once the play-ins start to come around the corner. And I think that if IG can look this good, they can definitely challenge teams like Thunder Talk. They can definitely challenge teams like EDG. And that's where you got to imagine the players are looking towards in terms of goals for the summer split, if not even further.
Definitely, you got to believe there's a little bit of frustration on behalf of some of these veterans that having to play in Nirvana here. It's the risk you take when you are not on the Rift during the spring and or winter splits, that you don't really have a lot of control over the outcome. Right. And so they find themselves, coming into this lineup, coming into Group Nirvana late, in a position that I'm sure they would tell you they did not they would not have been in had they been here all along, to say the least. So we'll see just how far they can ride this train, because we're not going to get to see them up against the Group Ascend teams until it's playoffs time. That's kind of the nature of the format. So certainly looks like they can beat up on Nirvana, and we're left to speculate, will they be able to beat up on the play-in teams? And if so, how far can they really go?
That's the question. I think that obviously whenever you have players like Awesome and TheShy, Sky really is the limit for this team. I think that these guys have been proven to have such insane upside when they're online and when they are actually locked in. But especially for the case of TheShy, the floor, like we said, is just like below the ground. So I think that if TheShy can keep this momentum, if he can keep this form, I actually consider him to be a threat to some of these Ascend top laners. And that is a sentence. Yeah, you guys have no idea how fun it is to say a sentence like that.
Oh, yeah. Certainly looking to be a cut above these Nirvana top laners. So we'll have to wait and see just how well he can do against Ascend when he gets that opportunity, if he gets that opportunity. Certainly feels like when they're a third of the way through the split now, 2-0, pretty solid performances. Hard to believe that they won't be able to pick up some more wins as the split does go on. Win over Weibo, win over LNG. We'll keep our eyes on the rest of their split as always, but we are going to be moving back to Group Ascend here before too long to close on out the night as we look for Top Esports versus JDG. Which will come up after we get to see our Series MVP here.
And Gordo, I posed the question to you, my friend. As Slayer posed the question to me in our first series, I think we've already discussed it pretty much to the point where I can insinuate who you would vote for. Who do you think is Series MVP, though? I need to hear it in plain language.
I think it's going to be TheShy. I think I would probably give the Game 2 MVP to TheShy as well. I think Game 2 MVP, you could make a case for Wei if you don't want to, to be too TheShy pilled. I think Series MVP, you still got to give to TheShy at the end of the day. But
I agree.
You can give Wei a Game 2 MVP for his performance up against WeiWei.
I agree. I think that TheShy, I don't know how much stock you take in Sheer as a player, but regardless of that fact, TheShy looked really good in this series. Like, you got to give Series MVP to the best player, regardless of who he's facing off against. I mean, you probably give the Series MVP to Wei if I was the jungler for LNG, and I just got absolutely gapped by him, which would definitely happen. So I think that is probably TheShy. I would vote for him as well. And I think it's really cool that TheShy is looking like he's in good form. Obviously, there were some questionable plays, but it's a part of the journey when watching him. And it's a very fun journey. It's a nice little roller coaster. As, yeah, that's TheShy performance, all right. 22.2k damage on Gnar of all champions to be the highest by a pretty decent margin here in Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a really good job just pumping damage into Sheer pretty much every time we checked out the top lane. And obviously, it feels so minor, but you can track it all the way back to that attempted level 3 gank onto bot lane from WeiWei. The fact that they spot him out there, the fact that they're able to absorb that, the fact that they're able to take a tempo advantage, turn that into a botched mid lane gank, that sets Rookie up for success. And they're all over WeiWei basically the rest of the game from there. They know exactly where their jungler is. They're able to successfully set up vision. They're able to successfully track him. And there are no opportunities left for the LNG jungler. Here's that play I'm talking about here, where he knows he's been spotted. He knows he has taken a huge tempo loss. So he tries to force a play in mid. Almost works out for him. No dice.
That's just so unlucky. Like, I mean, if that play went through, I don't necessarily think that it saves IG's game as a whole. It probably doesn't. But I feel like it probably would have saved WeiWei's game a little bit, because at that point, he did 2 camps, looked for a bot lane gank, got spotted, and then wrapped around to look for a gank in mid. And the fact that both of those went awry, was just like he was cooked from the beginning. And this was a game where he had to make early impact as the Jarvan, because eventually the Vi was going to get level 6, and from there the guaranteed lockdown does beat the flag and drag, which is technically a skill shot.
Certainly does. Yeah, I mean, this is just an IG domination montage at this stage. The fact that they are not able to produce enough damage to really be able to take down any of these members. They're splitting the fights. I like this look from Nya here in this dragon fight. You know, really did his best to be able to make something happen. Got this kill onto Awesome at the very end here, but it's just not enough, right? The rest of the team is just getting mowed down on the opposite side. And here's our rookie Shockwave to close things out.
Yeah, God, that is so satisfying. A good Shockwave, honestly, will heal the soul. If you've had a bad day of solo queue games, or it's just been like a really rough day at your day job, or, you know, life has been tough, Shockwaves, like 3, 4-man, 5-man Shockwaves will make your day just a little bit better. I don't think the effect stacks, but it'll help you just a little bit.
Just sitting here addicted to Shockwaves, just watching Shockwave montages all day long. Trying to feel
I mean, if I wanted to watch good Shockwaves, I would watch our Casterlo matches, man. You got some good ones here and there.
There's an MVP for TheShy. He's gonna sweep the night then. I think if you win both individual game MVPs, I think you are obligated to get Series MVP. It just doesn't make sense otherwise. What are we doing if this is some
I wonder if that's actually ever happened
stuff
before. Like, that would be very funny if a player won back-to-back game MVPs, and then the series MVP was totally different.
Math ain't
that would be hilarious. Math ain't mathin'. But it's a foregone conclusion that TheShy should be the series MVP, and like we've said so many times, much deserved. Really good game against Sheer, and just excited to see where his potential is at in this portion of his career. It's been 8 years since this guy won Worlds, and it's a total sweep here in game number 2, which is even better than game number 1, because there was a vote for Meiko in game number 1 that prevented the sweep then and there. So even more convincing this time.
Yep. I think there was one vote for Awesome in game number 1 as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it was 6 of 8. So my man's rocking 14 out of 16 right now, and soon to take what should be a Universal Series MVP. Come on, guys, let's make it happen.
We know that it has to be there. The HUD dropped on the analyst desk, so I think we're going to be getting it very, very soon. Oh, yep, there it is.
Hey, player of the match going to TheShy. Stacking up those numbers, I don't remember exactly what numbers he falls on for like damage percent and stats like that, but I think probably moving his way up those leaderboards for top laners and going to be a player that everybody is hyped about coming into week number 3.
He's just so cool. He's TheShy. I thought that was a lot of fun to cast him for the first time, Gordo, and yeah, good first look, at least personally from me. For Invictus Gaming. Will not be the last time I cover them, and certainly hope that I get to see this version of them more than twice, because this is a team that, from the looks of it, can legitimately challenge for the Ascend spot going into 2027, and who knows, can even make a a presence in playoffs, but that is presumptuous. That is far out there. IG still have a long road ahead of them if they want all of those dreams to come true. But hey, it starts right here, and it's already looking good. IG up 2-0 after 33% of their games are done in Nirvana for the regular season.
Absolutely. But that's going to do it for our section of the broadcast here, Quax. We're going to hand things over to Alk and Mazel as we get into Top Esports versus JDG. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you after this.